In the ancient kingdom of Eldoria, nestled between mist-shrouded mountains and the whispering sea, a peculiar tradition held sway. The king wore no crown of gold or silver, no circlet adorned with jewels. His crown was invisible, a legacy passed down through generations, a burden as much as a birthright. The people saw only the weight on his shoulders, the furrow in his brow. They didn't know the crown was real, a sentient artifact that fed on the very essence of its wearer, his sanity. This is the story of King Theron, the latest to bear the hollow crown. He ascended the throne young, his heart full of ideals and his mind sharp. He was told the crown was a symbol, a metaphysical connection to his ancestors. A comforting lie. The truth was far more sinister. The crown was a parasite, and its hunger was insatiable. In the first few months of his reign, Theron felt only a faint pressure, a fleeting thought that wasn't his own, a whisper on the edge of hearing. He dismissed it as the stress of his new duties. But the whispers grew louder. When a trade negotiation with the neighboring realm of Silverwood faltered, Theron paced his chambers, his mind racing with self-doubt. Was I too harsh? Did I misread their intentions? And as the doubt coiled in his gut, the invisible crown tightened. A voice clear as a bell, yet heard only by him, echoed in his mind. They saw your weakness, Theron. They mock you behind your back. Your father would have secured that treaty in an hour. Theron froze, clutching his head. The voice was his own, yet twisted, laced with a venom he didn't possess. He shook his head, trying to clear it, but the seed was planted. The next day he was colder, more suspicious in court, his trust in his advisors beginning to fray. The crown had taken its first real bite. The hollow crown thrived on insecurity. Every moment of hesitation, every flicker of self-reproach was a feast. It didn't just whisper outs. It whispered truths, but truths stripped of context and twisted into weapons. When his general, a man who had served his father faithfully for 30 years, advised a strategic retreat from a border skirmish, the crown hissed, "He sees you as a boy playing at war. He's preserving his own reputation, not your kingdom." The truth was, the general was trying to save lives, but the crown only showed Theron the sliver of truth that would breed paranoia. Theron began to isolate himself. He spent long hours in the royal library, not reading, but staring at the flickering candlelight, listening to the relentless monologue in his head. The crown showed him visions, glimpses of his advisors laughing, which it framed as mockery. It replayed his smallest stumbles, magnifying them into catastrophic failures. Remember when you stumbled on the coronation steps? The court still snickers. They call you the stumbling king. His appearance changed. Dark circles formed under his eyes. He grew thin, his gaze darting and suspicious. His queen, Elara, tried to reach him. "Theron, my love, what troubles you? Talk to me." She would hold his hand, her touch a warmth he barely registered. The crown would counter her kindness. "She pities you. Her love is a performance to maintain her status. Can't you see the disappointment in her eyes?" He pulled his hand away, the poison seeping deeper, alienating the one person who truly cared for him. The kingdom began to suffer. Theron's decrees became erratic, his judgments harsh and unpredictable. He demoted the loyal general and promoted a sycophant who fed his growing paranoia. He accused his treasurer of skimming funds based on a fleeting vision the crown had shown him, a vision of the man smiling while counting gold. The court became a place of fear where honest counsel was replaced by hollow flattery. One night, desperation drove Theron to the forbidden archives, to a dusty tome bound in black leather, the Chronicle of the Crown. His hands trembled as he read the accounts of his ancestors. King Alaric the Mad, who declared war on the moon. Queen Lyra the Silent, who had her own tongue removed. King Vorlag the Tyrant, who executed half his court. Each story ended the same way, with a monarch consumed by madness, their reign ending in tragedy, and the crown passing to the next unsuspecting heir. And then he found the final terrifying truth, scrawled in a panicked hand by his own great-grandfather. "The crown does not want a ruler," it read. "It wants a vessel. It drains the mind to make room for itself. It doesn't want to be worn. It wants to become. It seeks a replacement." The realization hit Theron like a physical blow. He wasn't just going mad. He was being erased. The whispers were not just whispers. They were the nascent thoughts of a new consciousness, a consciousness of pure ancient malevolence, slowly overwriting his own. The crown wasn't a symbol of power. It was a predator, and the kings of Eldoria were its generational prey. Looking into a mirror, Theron didn't see his own reflection at first. He saw a flicker of something else, a pair of ancient, cold eyes staring back from his face. The crown's voice was no longer a whisper, it was a roar. We are almost one. This body will be ours. This kingdom will be ours. You are nothing but a fading memory. But in that moment of ultimate terror, a spark of defiance ignited within Theron. The crown fed on doubt, on fear, on weakness. What then would starve it? Certainty, acceptance, strength. He would not be another tragic footnote in a cursed history. He would be the last. He strode out of the archives, his purpose clear. He found Queen Elara in the gardens. He took her hands, and this time he didn't pull away. He looked her in the eyes and said, Elara, I have been unwell, cursed, but I will not let it consume me. I need your help. For the first time in months, he spoke without the filter of paranoia. He chose to trust. As he spoke, he felt a jolt, a painful wrenching in his mind as the crown recoiled, starved of its expected meal of suspicion. He then went to the dungeons and released his treasurer, apologizing with a humility the court hadn't seen in years. He summoned his old general, confessed his paranoia, and asked for his counsel once more. With every act of trust, every admission of vulnerability, every choice to believe in the goodness of others over the poison in his head, the crown weakened. It writhed and hissed, its power diminishing. It could twist truth, but it could not fight against unwavering, deliberate faith. Theron realized the crown's power was an illusion, sustained only by his own belief in its lies. He wasn't fighting the crown anymore. He was fighting himself, the part of him that was susceptible to doubt. The only way to win was not to remove the crown, for that was impossible, but to make his own mind, his own spirit, an inhospitable wasteland for the parasite. He ruled with a new kind of strength, not the blustering certainty of a tyrant, but the quiet confidence of a man who had stared into the abyss and chosen to turn away. He listened to his advisors, trusted his wife, and most importantly, he learned to trust himself again, not in his infallibility, but in his capacity to choose good. The whispers never fully vanished. They were a constant, faint hum in the back of his mind, a reminder of the battle he fought and won every single day. He wore the hollow crown, but it no longer wore him. He had filled the hollowness with his own unbreakable will, proving that the strongest thrones are not built of gold or power, but of sanity, trust, and the courage to believe in the light when surrounded by darkness. Thank you so much for watching. This story is a reminder that our internal battles are often the most difficult, but also the most important to win. If you enjoyed this tale, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more stories like this.